Welcome to our presentation looking further into the post office. I'm Jess.
And I'm Sally.
First we start off with employee legislation. Employee legislation refers to laws that regulate the relationships between employers and employees. Pay. The post office give new staff relevant paperwork to be filled in regarding national insurance, salary, hours, etc. Which is then given to professional accountants who will deal with the payments, wage slips or any problems. Also, set hours and shifts are given, however this will vary during busy periods of the year, such as Christmas, where hours will increase. Hours are monitored by time-in and time-out machines. Breaks. All post office employees are entitled to 20 minutes undisturbed break for working 6 hours, which is taken in the middle of the day, not beginning or the end. Employees are also entitled to 5.6 weeks holiday, which is 28 days if they work 39 hours a week. However, this could differ if hours were more or less based on pro rata. Employees are also entitled to statutory sick pay and statutory maternity pay and leave. Equal opportunities. All employees have the right to be treated without discrimination. Workforce is diverse in terms of race and ethnics. Gender balance. Post office are currently encouraging more women to fulfil managerial roles. Post office also include disadvantaged people. All of what I've said above can be achieved with equal opportunities forms when applying for the job position and advertising in suitable locations to attract certain types. This is positive employment. Training for all and engaging everyone is also included.
Moving on to consumer legislation. In the UK, consumer legislation outlines you can get help if you are treated unfairly or when things go wrong. The following relate to the post office consumer legislation in particular. Credit and store cards, faulty goods, counterfeit goods and poor service. Within the Post Office Legislation Act 2011, they have a section dedicated to what they call consumer protection conditions, which outlines their policies in regards to things such as consumer rights, complaints and general support of any public consumer. They ensure no biased approach is taken through the use of their redress scheme, which is a scheme under which complaints are investigated and determined by a person who is independent of the postal operators.
Next, moving on to suppliers. Consistency. Suppliers to the post office, such as currency suppliers, need consistency, as they don't want to be buying back the money that they have sold. The post office will know when to buy more currency, as they know the busy periods of the year. However, with items such as stationery, it is not bought as often and the regular sales are not always there. Also, they don't want returns. Suppliers do not want returns, which is why when the post office make an order, it needs to get the order just right. Otherwise, the supplier will have to issue refunds, which they won't want to do. For example, ordering £1,000 of dollars and selling only £400 worth.
Moving on to health and safety, which refers to protection of both consumer and employees. Within the majority of companies, there is a member of staff who is in charge of ensuring health and safety regulations are met. The post office must ensure its staff are protected. To do so, there are several items which will not be accepted, such as alcohol, aerosols, controlled drugs, clinical waste and batteries. The post office has made a union safety rep a formal part of its safety culture. Dedicated safety reps who spend 100% of their time on safety work. In relation to health of employees, they're entitled to £87.55 per week as statutory sick pay, which is paid by the employer for up to 28 weeks.
And moving on to global warming. All of the targets were exceeded, as you can see, and the post office have set challenging goals for the current year, which is therefore helping towards the global warming problems. All buildings have low energy lighting and low water usage fixtures. Vehicles, 57% of vehicles met the current emission standard, and waste, most of the buildings are part of the dry and mixed recycling scheme where everything can be segregated.
I then looked at the bank, which includes financial statement, where an external completes an audit of the company's accounts. This external checks over the accounts to ensure they're true, then sends a copy of this to the bank. It also includes credit limit. The post office have to manage their cash flow, which includes money both going in and out of the business, with the purpose of avoiding their credit limit. One of the simplest ways of guaranteeing this is adhered to is to deposit their money into the bank as frequently as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.